All right, and you're live as they're telling us. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Welcome to the James S. Rickers High School Black History Month podcast. I'm now sitting here with some of my illustrious students here at Rickers High School that enrolled in my Honors United States History class. And these students were chosen largely because they have the ability to either be very artistic, they can write very well, they're highly opinionated. And this particular podcast, what we're talking about is the just some issues that they can kind of ask questions or talk to me about them and ask them questions about, things that's related to African American history and Black culture. All right, and so basically, yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome, and allow for them to each one of them to introduce themselves. Maybe say your name, say what you're involved in here at Rickards, or what you may do as a hobby or anything like that. Wow.
John T. Galloway, if you're on campus, please report to Dean Thomas' office in the cafeteria. So John T. Galloway, if you're on campus, please report to Dean Thomas in the cafeteria. Thank you.
The luxury of doing a podcast out of school is having announcements. Go ahead.
All right, my name is Layla Thomas. I'm involved in athletics. I play soccer and flag football here. I also, in my free time, enjoy videography.
All right, awesome.
My name is Zadia Ash. In my free time, I love to do anything art, and I love to play the piano.
Cool.
My name is Kalasia Williams, and I am an artist.
Cool.
Okay, my name is Trinity Agnew, and I just like to read books and watch TV.
Nothing wrong with
That's
that.
true.
My name is Latrell Baptiste, and I like to write poetry and write music.
Cool.
My name is Elijah Cody. I play baseball here at Rickards. I love videography. I also love playing the piano. I also love dancing. I know I'm talking too much.
No, right. No. Golly. So we got some musicians here. I did not know that about either one of y'all. I'm gonna solicit y'all help later on. All right. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into this. So again, this is the Say What podcast. Why is studying Black history important to you? Anybody?
I feel like it's important to study Black history because it's very repressed and covered up, and it reminds us where we come from.
Okay. Anybody else?
Black history to me just seems something that we all should know, given the fact that, well, at least here in America, it is 70% of our history.
Yeah, John. True. Anybody else?
I feel like Black history is important because it connects you to your past and it gives you like a sense of want. Like when you learn about it and you learn all the people, like ancestors and people in the past, what they did, you think about like what you could do to be better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It would be inspiration.
Yeah. Can figure out what if what they were able to do in the past, you might be able to do it. And so, it might inspire you to want to do it yourself. Which is interesting because Kalasia, you were like, it's been repressed and it needs to be known. So I'm not answering that. All right, so they're going to be mad at me, but I'm not answering the phone unless they call like a million times. But for the most part, when you think about how African American history is suppressed, it makes you wonder like, why would they? So I want to ask, that's just a off the cuff kind of conversation question. Why not? And they, as in, why would some people not want Black history to be taught? Anybody?
Maybe because it would discredit them and their people.
Okay. It might discredit them. Anybody else?
Well, I believe
Long-term guilt.
I feel like they don't want it reversed because like if you start off as an oppressor, you wouldn't want to be oppressed. You realize all the things that you did.
That's true.
Right, they don't want it to happen to them.
Yeah.
Too, right?
Yeah. Okay.
to piggyback off of that, I believe that history is written by the winners.
Oh yeah, it's a quote. It's a quote. I believe by Napoleon Bonaparte, French dictator at one point. He basically was saying that history is written by those who win, and usually the oppressed people don't oftentimes get the opportunity to tell their story or at least tell their side. Huh?
Chat.
Oh, it's a chat. Oh, we had a question. All right, great statistics. All right, cool. Yeah, thank you so much, Sea Bear. And thank you. Somebody say yes, sir. Yes. We see you. And then, of course, in the chat, if you would like to post questions or comments that we could talk about, or things that you might have seen or heard on TV and or the internet, you can you can definitely add that into what we are talking about here. All right, so for our next question, do you think that all Americans should study Black history? Why or why not? Was that new?
Ooh, I think they should.
Okay.
Because I mean, it literally, everybody like is included in it, like especially Black people, but everybody's included, especially the white people too. So
Yeah.
it would make sense for everybody to know about it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think we should. I think all Americans should study Black history because like it is your history. You live here, and then also like to show you that you haven't come as far as you thought you come. Like things haven't changed very much from the past, and it can teach you how to be a better person and how to not repeat it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Not only that, I feel as though most of the things we have right now are because of Black people.
I was just about to say
Yeah.
that. Right.
So to
Yeah.
say
Like
that-
Black history is the history.
Right.
Like.
Even in this room right now, we got the lights on
Right.
Louis Latimer. That wouldn't be possible.
Facts. Yeah. The incandescent light bulb. Somebody said, "Okay, Trinity." Also, like history is so important to learn about because without it, over time, people forget about it and seem like it's not there. So so basically somebody said so they agree. Thank you so much. What is that? I don't know who that is, but
It's a donkey, and I like it.
yeah, cool. Oh yeah, cool. That is cool. Right on to you. Thank you. All right, so we're gonna move on, man. Unless somebody else had other comments about that one. No? All right, so what was the first thing you learned about as far as Black history, and when did you learn about it?
The youngest I can remember, so my grandma used to own a high school, and she used to it was like predominantly Black. So she was a teacher, so she used to teach me all these different poems, and I would recite a poem about Harriet Tubman. That was the first Black history thing. She had me memorize it.
Wow. Oh, for the candy. All right, yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that. Anybody else?
The first Black history thing I learned was at Family DRS.
Oh,
And they made us, we had to wear little white uniforms and sweep the cafeteria floor while singing Wade in the Water.
Wow.
So sweet for a show. And they told us where it eventually came from, Wade in the Water, how it originated, slave songs and stuff like that.
Okay.
And it was the meaning behind it, when the part is God shoveling the water was about, I forgot.
Yeah,
It
no,
was
trust me.
so long ago.
Yeah, no, I get it. I understand. Which is it's a Negro spiritual, and there was a lot of things that are connected to the Bible that helped African Americans to kind of understand, or at least use what they were learning because they weren't allowed to read to help them get through their struggle. And so I trust me, I understand that. Anybody else? I would like to hear from all of you all, if that's okay. So go ahead.
For me, I think, I just been surrounded by Black history all my life. My first earliest memory of it, I don't think I can really tell you, but the moment that made me realize that our lives matter and our stories matter, I think was Trayvon Martin.
Okay.
No, unless before him it was, I can't remember his name. It's crazy.
Rodney King?
No.
Say, man, how old are you?
I'm thinking about Tamir Rice, but he was after him.
Yeah, Tamir Rice was after.
Yeah, he was after.
Yeah.
Kid that got shot because he was playing with his BB guns.
That's Tamir Rice.
Tamir Rice.
Yeah, that happened about a year later, I believe.
Yeah, I believe that was the first one. And not only me, but my entire family was just so shocked. And because of it, we actually got to get rid of our Nerf guns.
Wow. Yeah,
My mom literally just reminded me of that story.
Mm.
Because she said they didn't feel safe with us playing outside anymore.
Yeah, no, because naturally so. If a person playing around outside with a BB gun shot and killed, yeah, your parents got to protect you. There's a question from the chat, and it says, were there other Black presidents before Obama? I think that I should answer that. So the answer to your question is yes, technically, but not of the United States. If we're referring to the United States of America, we're referring to after the Constitution. And so we wouldn't get an African American or somebody who identified as Black into Barack Obama. But we're talking about before the United States Constitution in, I believe, 1785, when they completed it after the Articles of Confederation was a failure. Every state were loosely joined together. That's what they called the Articles of Confederation, right? And so each state had its own government. This is how we get governors. And they had their own legislation, and they went and reported back. So there have been some African Americans that were leaders in their own states or respective provinces, if you will. One that's floating around, which is not true on the internet, is a man by the name of John Henson. He's to have a photograph. But I think that it's important that you kind of use your common sense. Common photography would not be the first president to actually be photographed would be John Quincy Adams. And that's like the 5th president, which is after the Constitution. So you can't have a black president that had a photograph, right? And so this John Henson person was something else that would take me off into a tangent. However, we did have other presidents that were of other nations, particularly speaking of John Quincy Adams, we had, James Madison. James Monroe, excuse me. James Monroe helped establish Monrovia, or at least Liberia in Africa. The capital of Liberia is Monrovia, which was supposed to be for blacks to move back to Africa. And they had black presidents over there. And this was a protectorate nation of Africa, of America for a while, or of the United States for a while before they had their direct independence. And so you could say those individuals over there were some of the first black presidents, but they would not be of the United States. To answer your question, C Bear. All right, so right here, when was your first time hearing about Black history?
I was in kindergarten watching Brain Pop. Many of y'all probably know what that is.
Oh, I remember Brain Pop.
I was watching a video of Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King, so I was one of my first glimpses of Black history.
Okay.
Mine was just in elementary school, and it was just Harriet Tubman and Martin Luther King. It wasn't really deep into it.
Yeah, naturally so.
Right, but like back in elementary, like all we learned about was like Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman.
Right.
Shovel fed those
Jackie Robinson.
Yeah, over and over again.
But like, I guess since we were young, like they don't expect us to grasp as many different people, but something new, please.
Yeah, no, trust me, I understand. Now, I don't want to be talking too much, but I think it's important that I address this. I don't think that it would be wise teaching a little kindergartner about lynching. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so you have to be careful. And then not only that, but if I'm an elementary school teacher, I almost have so much pressure on make sure that you know how to count and read, that I can't spend too much time talking about some stuff that you might end up upset at me about, especially if I'm a middle-class white woman teaching a classroom full of colored children. You understand what I'm saying? And so you end up upset at me because I'm this white woman and you can't differentiate between me now and white people in this book that we reading about. So that might be a reason why that they may not have wanted to teach about that at such a young age.
That's
Now,
also sad though. It's sad that like when you're trying to like show children their culture and their history, another struggle or worry we have to worry about is like racism. Like,
right.
Like that's sad. That comes hand in hand.
It does. And you're right. I have ideas about solutions. You can just teach the joyful moments of those things. You don't always have to dwell on slavery. You know what I mean? There's a lot of Black history that can be talked about. I agree not to teach at a young age. Thank you, Donkey. So Selena. Hey, but say hi, Dad. But and so yeah. Anyway, so let's. Anybody else? I think everybody talked about. Let's move on to the next question. All right. Let's see. How does studying Black history make you feel as an individual?
Oh my gosh. Sometimes it can be depressing, like very depressing, especially not to single you out.
Yeah, no, it's the truth. It's the truth.
Sometimes it's unbearable, but you have to learn where you people come from and how far you have gotten.
Yeah.
And I think that is super important. Another teacher here at Rickards, African American teacher,
Mr. Thompson.
Mr. Thompson, he showed me. Well, I had seen it before, but did not understand it all the way.
Yeah.
Some of the punishments they gave to slaves,
Oh, yeah.
just not even in America, but on the slave ships, and the way that they kept them in cages or just like worse than animals.
Right, yeah.
I felt as though it just seemed it seemed
Inhumane.
inhumane.
Yeah.
There was a feeling I never wanted to feel again. But I felt as though it was something I needed
to know, and you were of age to know it.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to teach that to a third grader, and so basically that would be rough, you know. But yeah, I totally understand your sentiments. I'm teaching the Harlem Renaissance. I taught joy today. All right, and yeah, but I know we talked about the Khoury massacre and the race riots and all of that. But yeah, Sam House or Host rather. I know that had to be, you know, not traumatizing, but at least triggering. You know what I mean? But it's all right. I'm gonna go to Layla because she looked like she got something to say. So basically, how does studying Black history make you feel?
Hidden. Like, it's a lot of stuff that I realized that we actually did created and like made that's like covered up by white people now or other races. Like it makes it seem like we didn't really develop anything or like we feel like less of a person. And like back to like the slavery stuff and watching the punishment, sometimes I think who were they to judge? Like we weren't all equal. Like now we know they're all equal, but what made them feel superior? Like what gave them the idea that they were better than us in any type of way or better than any other race that made them want to like spread their superiority and like want to take over everything?
Power.
So it confused me.
Power.
Yeah, power. But go ahead.
When I learn about history, I don't know, like y'all, I get where y'all coming from. I understand, and I feel the same way too. But I feel sometimes more like empowered because it's like I know that if people back then, when they had Jim Crow laws, you had to be in at certain times. They were still making things shake. They were still changing lives and still making things better for the future. If they could do it, you know, I have pretty much most of my rights. You know,
Yeah,
you
have no limitations, right?
So it makes me feel like I can do whatever, you know, like I'm capable of whatever.
Right, I feel you. Mr. Batiste, you don't feel no type of way when you learn Black history?
It's like mixed emotions.
Oh.
Like certain parts get me mad. Like the lynching of we just talked about
Sam House or Sam House? Yeah.
That got me
angry. Yeah, and it was almost for nothing.
Like they said, Chat Emmett Till gets me angry to this day.
You know, I think they got a movie coming out or about to come out. It's already came out already. Yeah, so make sure y'all watch that. I produced it. I'm lying. You know those podcasts where they be putting on for other stuff. I felt impelled to do it, but anyway. But
I don't think I would watch it.
It would be so sad.
Graphic. And it's gonna be behind the scenes.
It's gonna be a comedy. It's not gonna be a comedy. It wouldn't be a comedy, man. I would be historically accurate. I'm gonna tell the whole truth. Y'all know that.
Yeah.
I tell it all, good and bad. Say it again. I want to be on it. History Channel. Hook me up. All right, baby. Go ahead.
I feel like mad and proud that we had to go through so many like trial and tribulations just to like still kind of be in the same place. Like yes, we moved up, but have we really? And then I'm proud because I know we came from the great adventures, but then mad again because how much of our stuff has been covered up or taken credit for it. Right,
man.
We don't know about.
Yes, a lot of things that a lot of this stuff we still discovering. You know, it's history still being written about things that happened hundreds of years ago as it relates to African Americans. Miss Agnew?
I think it inspired me because they fought for people that they wouldn't even see in the future. They fought for
That's
other
how I
people.
know.
Yeah, man. It's fought and died for it, man. Right.
That's something do you think we would do the same now?
Sadly, I doubt it. You know, but I'm taking a risk right now doing this podcast. I could lose my job. You know what I mean? And not that I'm doing anything related to critical race theory, although we are talking about race, we're not analyzing it in any critical manner and trying to accuse the American government of doing anything. This is recorded, so you know this is not what I'm doing. However, what I am saying is that, you know, to have these type of conversations, somebody can try to come in here or something, or when they see this, they might, you know, try to ruffle up some feathers and say, oh, yes, he is, and try to twist the words, and this is what he's preaching and teaching, and indoctrinating is what the word they like to use, which is much less of education. And I'm just providing a platform for you all, but that's dangerous just talking about this now.
But I mean, we're old enough. It's not like you put a gun to our head and was like, come here. We're old enough to know what we want to be a part of. And this is something that I wanted to be a part of. This is a powerful thing that I want to be a part of. Like, so
Right.
This is Black history.
Exactly.
Right.
Because
It's-
it's a predominantly African American school. We should have things like this, I think.
You should,
Empower us.
that part.
Hey, I wanted to be known that both of my parents just told me to speak louder into the mic because they couldn't hear me. Mind you, they live in two different places in two different times, but yet they still managed to tell me they couldn't hear me.
Bro, calm down. All right, so, all right, we moving, because I don't want them calling me. They're gonna be like, Dr. Thompson, send Cody outside, please. Elijah outside. I'm like, oh, snap.
Oh.
That's probably who was calling earlier.
Wait, so this is on?
Yeah, he's on.
I've been touching it and smelling it. And
Oh my God, bro. All right, but anyway, moving on. Does the inclusion of Black culture in your classes, whether it be English, history, science, math, or does the inclusion of Black culture in your classes make you learn more or encourage you to at least try to learn more?
Yeah,
Yes.
almost definitely.
Okay. No? Why?
because like to me it frustrates me because I'm not like no, like it's like Black History Month and stuff like that being skipped out like in most of the schools I went to or the classes that I had, it's been skipped over so long, so now it's like I'm just now learning this stuff.
Oh, it becomes
And
frustrating.
I feel a little behind.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's like being with y'all in the classroom and y'all knowing a little more than me upsets me because I'm really competitive.
Oh.
So if you doing good, I want to do better. If you doing better, I want to do better.
That's good though.
All
Iron
right.
sharp as iron.
Say it again.
Iron sharp as iron.
That's facts. Yeah. So, you know, you in a place and especially like stuff like this where you should be able to talk openly, express what you don't know and learn what you can. Somebody said something about paper genocide before I go on. What is that? As all the things to which I do know about, I don't think I ever heard of that.
I feel like
Yeah, but what is paper genocide? If C-Bear, if you could, go ahead and explain to us what that is, and I may be able to speak about it, or we may be able to speak about it together. But so everybody else said like yes, right? Like it does.
Wait, what is genocide mean?
Genocide means like to try to eliminate a group of people just based on their ethnicity.
So then paper genocide is written.
All right, we moving
You
on.
took it out the history books. I'm trying to
Oh.
I'm about the new character.
You did. Hey, yo, that's dope.
That was good.
Okay, I get it. All right. So the next one. If it is so that you you know are learning more, why do you think is that you learn more in those classes when they're introducing more of Black culture, Black history?
It's my people.
It's your
It
people.
makes me feel like connected. If I feel like I have a connection to anything, regardless, like it makes me more interested and intrigued to learn about it. So like that's me right there, you know.
I become more intrigued, even if it is instead of Johnny has 5 apples, if it's Jaquan has 5 apples, I'm more into it, you know?
Way more into it.
Yeah. All right. So all right. What are some of the current issues that are happening in America that relate to Black people?
I'm not gonna lie, when I saw that, I instantly thought of like the hate that we have within our own community, like against each other as far as like colorism. I feel like that's one, not the biggest, but a pretty big problem that we have as in like just going to school every day. Like I hear so often, oh, you're dark skin, you're light skin. I feel like it just does not matter.
Yeah.
Like it should not matter.
He's
Like,
like that. My
you know, that's-
like we're not all Black.
Right.
Like, we're not all the same
I
community.
get called Hispanic, so.
All right, so I'm gonna go on air, and for our entire 2 weeks almost.
No, it was like the 2 quarters.
It was not 2
It
quarters.
was, I told you.
Bruh, it was okay. I'll take a few weeks. But I honestly thought I was like, because I didn't check or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I made a definite mistake by assuming that she was Hispanic.
Oh my
And
God.
I swear to God I did. And I was just okay. So her friends are, and so so I was like, I just assumed, which is to a degree racism. You know what I'm saying? It's colorism. You know what I'm saying? Just because, and I can admit it as an adult in this circle that I actually did it. And that's colorism within our own community. It does happen.
I can speak on that. I was me, my sister, and my mom. I think we went to Waffle House or something like that. And she was talking about all the things. My little sister was talking about all the things that her friends say at school and stuff like that, and they're just roasting each other all about the color of their skin.
Can I ask how old your sister is?
She's
Gotta be up there.
What grade is she in,
The grade.
She's in 6th grade.
So that right there just shows you how problematic this is.
Mhm.
If you're in 6th grade, I was like 11 in 6th grade. You're 11 years old and you're worried about skin color. You should be worried about having fun and making friends and making memories. Why are you concerned about what color your friend's like skin is? That doesn't make sense.
When I
That
first
just shows you how bad it is.
When I first heard her say it, I was laughing my butt off. I'm not gonna lie, because it was funny. Because it reminded me of me and my friends when we go at it. But the thing is, my mom, she was more concerned about it. She felt as though we were putting each other down.
Yeah.
And what made me finally realize that is the literally next day, I'm hanging out with some of my baseball friends, and we started roasting one of our friends who is from Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And he had pulled me aside and was like, those jokes, I don't like those jokes.
Hmm.
I get them a lot, and I don't like when you say them.
Yeah.
Right.
And some of those.
It's ingrained in our culture.
Most
Yeah,
definitely.
it's ingrained in our culture. Somebody said that goes back to the predetermined concept of separation of the shades of color and status. Very much so. Field Negro.
And it's so
You're light. You're darker complexion. You're getting more fair skin. You in the house.
It's embedded into our mind so much.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it's sad because the hatred from another race, they made us hate each other. And that's so sad. Like that was another race's they wanted us to do that. And it happened. We were brainwashed into thinking that way.
Not just verbally, but physically as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
You don't see no other race killing each other like our race. So
Yeah.
it's sad to say.
Yeah. Now, do you think that's like dark? Do you think that's like a colorism? Like there's a dark skin gang out shooting light skinned people? Like I'm just kind of trying to tie it together because perhaps you could introduce something to me that I didn't know. But like you said, but to bring it back more serious, it is sad that we are. And I'm gonna play devil's advocate a bit because when you look at other ethnicities, when you see you never hear white on white crime or Puerto Rican on Puerto Rican crime. It's always black on black crime.
Right.
But I think what makes it more astounding is the numbers. We only make up 13% of the nation, but because of the crimes to which we are subject to committing, we make up a whole bunch of the industrial prison complex system. I don't know the exact number, but we disproportionately represent in prison. Go ahead. 67%. The Willie Lynch letter or letters. All right, so for those of you that don't know what that is, and I believe I talked about it way back in Unit 1, Causes and Effects of the Civil War. But Willie Lynch was supposed to be this person. I'm gonna tell you now, audience, and out there in the cyberspace, he's not a real individual, but he was a character that was made up by other slave masters, and particularly in the South. If you had any slaves on your plantation that were rebellious or Spartacus, if you will, like the ancient Romans, then here's how you break that slave. You beat him, you separate him from his family, you make the wife more dependent on you and make less dependent on him, and a whole bunch of other things. Castration like you would do a bull or an animal or a dog, and so to maybe tame and control that slave, and you will have a happier plantation, is what Willie Lynch was referring to. And the colorism is even described in that as well, in that book. But yeah, if you can divide them or put them against each other, you give one slave a little bit more than you give another slave, then they will be disagreeing with each other for forever long, in a long time.
And they forget that they're all the same.
Then they forget that they're all the same and have a common
They
enemy.
know, like, if we come together, we're gonna be like, we can't get defeated.
Right.
So they have to break us down in that way so that we would not make it.
We could have all been super Negroes.
Oh my God.
Super Negroes. I'm gonna move on. All right, so what are some solutions? Can anybody think of some solutions to maybe, okay, let's tackle at least one. Colorism. How could we solve the issue of colorism today in America?
Give anxiety a
Yeah.
Hugs, okay.
Stop bullying.
Stop bullying, okay.
Stop the coloristic jokes and thinking they're funny.
Yeah, man, yeah.
Yeah, I've never made them because that's not, usually the jokes that I've heard have been towards darker skinned people. That's not my place to say anything on that. I will never do that. That's disrespectful. But I stopped laughing out of, like, you know how you'll laugh because everyone else is laughing and you don't want to be the only person not laughing?
Yeah.
That's what I used to like. I stopped
Right.
doing that. I'll sit there and I'll look at you because I don't find it funny.
It's okay to joke. Just talk about, like, if you're joking, don't joke about something that's serious.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so go ahead.
I feel we should show more unification with one another, and especially when it comes to our celebrities,
Yo,
the people that we praise.
yeah,
I mean, if they can't even get along, what do you think it's going to do to us?
facts. Ms. Agnew, you got one? No? And no solutions?
Break down like the social construct of like lighter skin being better or
Yeah.
darker skin being worse.
Mhm.
Like break it down, educate the people of how to do it.
Yeah, no, that's very true. And go ahead.
I would say, like, we're all kings and queens, no matter your color, shade, no matter.
Exactly.
Yeah, right,
First off, like, thing is, we can't even get the jokes right sometimes.
right.
I mean, why are we calling each other Uncle Toms? He was the good guy.
Yeah, in the book. Yeah, in the book. Yeah. And so it's interesting, man. I saw a comment. That was the idea of John D. Rockefeller. Compulsory education leads to the prison pipeline. Yeah, that's true. He wanted to make it. John D. Rockefeller also said he wanted to make a nation of workers and not thinkers. What was that, Henry Ford? One of them said that they wanted to make a nation of workers and not thinkers, and which led to our education system being influenced by such thoughts and by such philanthropy. And then, it kind of led us to here today. But I don't want to go off into a tangent. I want to kind of keep on to this solution-based thing. You got one?
But like people say, we're all the same color on the inside.
Yeah. If we can,
I cut me and then you cut you, we bleed red.
We bleed red. Layla, we bleed red. You know what? We're not promoting cutting ourselves.
No.
But yeah, we all bleed red. But and that's important to understand. My research has shown me, I did a little research, is that the common, if we can be able to identify the common struggles amongst all the ethnicities, that brings us closer together. It's the things to which we can celebrate together, regardless of your ethnicity, your race, your credo, your background, whatever it may be. I think that that's important. So again, that actually starts with us. That starts within our own community. As far as the African-American community or those that may identify as Black, we have to know to celebrate us. I'm here at this school, illustrious school, diverse school, one of the most diverse schools I've actually taught at, and I like it. But when I saw that there weren't a lot of people stepping up to actually do an African American history program, I was like, as diverse as this school is, it should be 20 teachers wanting to come and do something with this. You know what I mean? But go ahead, Liz.
Oh, I was gonna ask, like, you was asking about solutions. I was just thinking, like, how you gonna solve anything when we keep falling into the same stereotypes that everybody put us in?
We can't believe the hype. We have to be able to define who we are. Stop making these jokes because it most likely will bring people down and feel like they don't fit in. I can say this with experience being called half-breed. Wow. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true, man. It's definitely a stereotype. We going out of time.
I heard
go ahead.
like lighter skinned people saying N-words.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Oh,
yeah.
I feel like if we start with our
Yeah, I get it.
we'll respect it.
Well, yeah, we have a lot of issues.
I got no.
No, well, so we're gonna go to our last question. Last question. Should Black people accept help from other ethnicities in America? Why or why not?
Of course.
Yeah. All the help you can get.
We need all the help we can
And I
get.
think really when it comes to, it used to be, Jewish and Black communities used to work together hand in hand.
You did, it's especially in certain major cities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel as though now, of course, we should still work with them, but, when it comes to the Hispanic community,
Yeah,
like, we should be back to back with everything.
yes, for sure.
Everything and everyone. Because if once we realize that we're all human, we're all the same at the end of the day, regardless of the skin color or where we come from, I think the world's gonna run better and smoother.
Facts.
It's only one race, the human race.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anything else?
Not at all.
All right, man, give yourselves a hand. Thank you, audience. We're gonna take, I'm gonna give like 30 seconds for y'all to kind of add another question if y'all wanted to ask another question. I'm putting the clock on. I'm getting a lot of calls. But I'm gonna put the clock on to kind of see if y'all got any other questions from the chat. So how was school today, guys?
That's pretty good.
Very
But
good.
I took 4 tests today.
Well, I told.
It's Friday, so.
Yeah.
I
the
fell
weekends.
up the stairs twice.
Oh, up the stairs.
How you fall?
I did it at home, so, you know.
I tell you what,
I can't relate,
I
but
got
I'm very
raised
happy for you. I mean, happy you're okay, not happy that you fell.
That's funny.
I took the test today, I felt as though I did okay until I got to the back. Completely different story.
You know what that relates to?
I think there
Rosa
have to
Parks.
be some different.
No, I didn't catch it, but I was looking at the chat. It says no, so nobody has questions. They said it starts from within. So thank you so much for the comments. Thank you, Cyberspace. Thank you, Rickers family. Again, we're gonna give ourselves a hand and we're gonna close out. All right, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Oh my God.